What up, guys? Finally, here we are, part 3 of how to win friends and influence people. Make sure that you catch up on part 1 and part 2 if you haven't yet. And here we are, guys. I'm going to go over the next set of principles that's extremely important to persuade people ethically to your way of thinking, right? So here we are, because you don't want to manipulate people into the wrong things. You want to do things for the right things because it's going to benefit both parties, not just you, right? So here we go, guys. These are the 12 principles. I'm going to recap them first, and then I'm going to briefly go over each one. It is an extensive book, but you can go out there by yourself, listen to the audio while you're stuck in traffic somewhere in the world. Trust me, it is going to be, some foundational tools that it's going to, work for you and work with you for the rest of your life. So here we go, guys. The next 12 principles are as follow. Principle number 1, the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Principle number 2, show respect for the other person's opinion. Never say you're wrong. Principle number 3, if you're wrong, admit it and empathetically. Number 4, begin in a friendly way. Number 5, get the other person saying yes immediately. Number 6, let the other person do a great deal of the talking. Number 7, let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. Principle number 8, try to honestly see things from their point of view. Principle number 9, be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. Principle number 10, appeal to the nobler motives. Number 11, dramatize your idea. And finally, principle number 12, throw down a challenge. So here we go, guys. We're going to go over each one briefly, as these are some of the footnotes on the whole book. All right, so principle number 1, the only way to get the best out of an argument is to avoid it. It's impossible to win an argument. I think we've all been there, right? Why prove someone else they're wrong? Is that going to make them like us? And yes, we should care, right? Because they're going to resent us, which means that even if we win the argument, we still lose, right? We just finish probably draining their energy. Now they don't want to talk to us about anything else. So if you were looking to persuade them, you were looking to, get them to see, your point of view, you've actually caused the opposite right now. You've drove them even further away from the truth, which is what you were trying to do in the first place, right? So remember that all you're really doing is creating resistance by doing that. So, make sure that you are avoiding arguments at all costs with people. It's definitely not worth it. Try to see where you guys can meet down the middle, and you're going to see you're going to get a lot better results in your life by doing that, guys. So that was principle number 1. You guys paying attention? All right, here we go. Principle number 2, guys. All right, and that is show respect for the other person's opinions. Never say you're wrong. Here we are, guys. Listen, when disagreeing, avoid shaking your head. You're like, all right? And adjust how you phrase your opinions, all right? Listen, there is a wrong and a right way with this, right? If you're telling people that you're wrong off the bat, you're going to create, again, some of that resistance that we were talking about in principle number 1. But there is a right way, a better way at least. And that is that, why do you feel that way? When you have someone else elaborate on why they feel a certain way or view things a certain way, a certain topic or subject, you're allowing them to really go deep down further, give you a little more information, a little more detail. It shows you actually care, that you were listening, so that even when you go in there and recounter something differently, they'll hopefully also listen to you. And not only that, but they'll be receptive to your ideas and your way of seeing things, all right? So keep that in mind, guys. That was principle number 2. Principle number 3. Here we are, all right? If you're wrong, admit it and empathetically. Listen, if we know that we're going to get rebuked anyhow, why not actually be the first ones to confront and hold ourselves accountable with things, right? Because if we do that, if we approach and we say, hey, listen, we were wrong here, I could have done something better, you're showing leadership qualities. You're showing, a person that you can be trusted. And, we all make mistakes. So instead of letting other people go out there and rebuke us for something, be the first ones, own up to them. And you're going to see you're going to get a lot more respect out of people by doing that. So that was principle number 3. Principle number 4, begin in a friendly way. Listen, guys, if I was angry or frustrated at someone, all right, and I doubled my fists and I was showing anger, all right, the other person's going to do the same thing. They're going to double their fist up and they're going to do it a lot faster than you, okay? So that means they're going to start building this wall of resistance, where anything that you're trying to communicate to them is just going to go from one ear to the next. So make sure that, when you are explaining something, you are conveying an idea, that you're friendly. You've got a smile on your face, that you're not showing restrictions or, any kind of wall between the two of you guys. Because if you do that, you're going to have you're just gonna have a harder time convincing them to your way. So just keep that in mind, guys. Principle number 5, we're gonna keep it moving. Get the other person saying yes immediately. Pretty much what you're creating here are little micro commitments. You're getting them to say yes so that at some point, down the line, when you ask them the real question that you want to get a yes from, they'll be accustomed already to saying yes. They'll be in a momentum of yeses already, where you're gonna get more of what you want. So just keep that in mind. Getting me to yes. So that was number 5. Yes. Right. Listen, we should start by emphasizing the things that we agree and conveying that you're striving for the same goals and resolutions. All right. So before you begin about saying the things that you disagree on, it's a great idea to maybe talk about about 1 or 2 things that you both agree on, meet down the middle before going into what you don't agree on, and that'll be a great way to actually get the other person receptive on the things that you're going to be talking to them about. Right. So keep that in mind, guys. That was principle number 5. Get the other person saying yes immediately. So principle number 6. Here we go. Let the other person do a great deal of the talking. I think we talked about this in the past in the other videos, how people tend to want to hear themselves and talk about themselves. And you have to take the opportunity to really listen when that is happening. So, make sure that, you got that, you're letting them do a lot of the talking, and you're fighting the urge to talk about yourself, because when you're listening to them, you're going to be learning about them. You yourself are going to get a lot more comfortable in the scenario. And what ends up happening is that when there's a short silences, a lot of times you want to talk immediately. But you have to actually train your mind. You have to train your thoughts into, in the quiet moment, in the quiet spaces between you and the other person, to allow for that quiet moment to be there, because the other person is going to automatically do the talking for you. Okay, so don't be the first one to actually talk in the silence, especially if you know that you've kind of laid down your ground where you're at and you want them to say something or elaborate further on anything else. Okay, guys, so keep that in mind. That was principle number 5. We're going to move to principle, so that was principle number 6. We're actually moving to principle number 7 now, which is let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. Let's be honest, guys, nobody likes to be told what to do. If you're certainly looking to persuade someone to your way of thinking, you have to, almost let them think that the idea came from them and not you, all right? And in sales, the way that would work is that you're kind of focusing on the product and what it is that you're helping them solve. And communicating with just, from, people to people on a normal basis, when you're not trying to sell a product or a service, it really is about teamwork, or a sense of leadership, but you're just demanding things of people. Again, you're going to create resistance, and you're not definitely going to get the way what you want out of people doing it that way. Okay, so that was principle number 7. We're going to move on to principle number 8, and that is try honestly to see other person's point of view. Listen, guys, it's not enough out there where people, when I know that I talk to people a lot of times, they're not necessarily seeing things from my point of view, and they're actually ready and just replying back, telling me why they feel a certain way about things, instead of having sat there, taking it in, put themselves in my point of view, because the other person may be wrong, but if you're condemning them, you're definitely not going to get, again, what you want out of people. And when they see that you're putting yourself in their shoes, when you start talking to them about, whatever it is, they're going to do the same, respectful. And, that's just key, again, to getting them to open up to you about your ideas and whatnot, and your plans and your desires, and so and so. So principle number 5, guys, here we are. We're getting a lot closer. A couple more principles. Appeal to the nobler motives. And what is that? Listen, in most cases, people will react favorably if we make them feel that we consider them honest, upright, and fair. All right. Sometimes we have to help them relate their goals to their overall life. Right. Once we match their visions with ours, when we find a way to find commonalities, that's going to be the way to actually get people on your side. It's going to get people excited and motivated and working with you and seeing the potential between you both. So that it's certainly a way to getting them, to win them over to your side, guys. All right. Remember, appeal to their nobler motives. What do they like? what are they into? Maybe they like golf, and maybe it might do you some good to look a little bit, look into golf a little bit so that you can carry somewhat of a conversation with them. And this person all of a sudden is going to start opening up to you about more than golf. They might talk to you about other things, primarily what you were there for. Maybe it's business, maybe it's whatever it is, but that's certainly going to be a way of doing that. And we're going to move forward, guys. Principle number 11. Dramatize your idea, all right? Find ways to show showmanship in the ideas that you are presenting. And the best way that you're going to get, the most out of people is by telling stories, by engaging them emotionally on your topics and on your subject, whatever it is. Because if you're just being plain like 1 + 1 = 2, you're going to lose them. But if you tell them why 1 + 1 = 1 and the story about how 1 became 2, I'm just making things up, right? But all of a sudden it creates a little more dynamic, and it creates things more vibrantly and just more attracting, guys. It's entertaining. No one wants to be, with boring, dull people. So make sure that you are, your energy is up, and that's gonna make a big difference and when you're trying to sell things or persuade people to your way of thinking, okay? And finally, we got it. We made it here. Principle number 12. And that is, throw down a challenge, all right? Turn things into a game. People are very competitive. Listen, in the name of game and fun, a lot of times that's the best way to get someone to do something. If you have an employee, you're having them work under threat instead of, incentives and maybe a challenge where at the end of the challenge, if they complete the task, they win something. You're gonna just get faster results, better results by encouraging people, through challenges, through incentives, as opposed to threat or whatever it is. So guys, keep that in mind. Those are the 12 principles. I'm gonna go ahead over one of them again if you want to listen to them, but I highly suggest you go read the book yourselves. The audio is free here on YouTube. I'm gonna go ahead and put my links down to part 1 and part 2 if you want to go over them. They're not that long. The other videos online are probably like about an hour, 30 minutes long. This, I've broken them into 3 little pieces that you can ingest really quick, either in traffic or while you're, at the groceries. So here we are, guys. The 12 principles that we just went over. I'm going to recap them, and hopefully you can go back and go through each one of them and see which one works best for you in your life right now and that you feel that you need to apply immediately. So here we go, guys. Principle number 1 all the way down through 12, okay? The only way to get the best out of an argument is to avoid it. Number 2, show respect for the other person's opinions. Never say you're wrong. Number 3, if you're wrong, admit it and empathetically. Number 4, begin in a friendly way. Principle number 5, get the other person saying yes immediately. Number 6, let the other person do the great deal of the talking. Number 7, let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. Number 8, try to honestly see things from the other person's point of view. Number 9, be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. Number 10, appeal to their nobler motives. Number 11, dramatize your idea, show showmanship. And number 12, throw down a challenge. Incentivize people to get those results faster and better than you want. All right, guys? So here we are. Those are the 12 principles. Thank you for tuning in. Oh my gosh, I hope this was exciting and useful and learning and educative. And go ahead out there and apply these things in the world. Okay? You're not going to get anything out of life if you don't communicate well with the people that you're constantly coming across in your daily life. So hopefully this was extremely helpful, guys. It's all about learning, growing, being better every single day, finding ways to be our better selves every single day, because honestly we will not only add to our lives, but we're going to add to those around us as well. Okay, guys, so here we are, new year. Let's make sure that we're doing big and great things, and we're not letting time idly pass by, because before you know it, it'll be over and we're looking back with regrets and saying what we should have done and could have done. Let's just go out there and do it.